So let me introduce Dr. Clive O, who's going to lead off with some research in social media. That's right. Give it up for Clive O, please. Thank you. Dr. O.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, and thank you so much for coming, and thank you for having me here to be able to present my research that has to do with social media and public opinion, and especially in the realm of social media, the like button. Okay, so it's titled, "What's Not to Like? How the Like Button Can Mislead Us into Misinformation." This presentation is largely based on my dissertation, my doctoral dissertation, which was like 400 pages long. So I'm going to try to do my best to make this brief, short, and sweet. But to begin, it has to do with the like button. Okay, so we know that the like button first appeared on Facebook around 2008, 2009, and we all like things, right, on social media. We like someone's post. We like when 100 people say happy birthday on your birthday. You're just, right before you go to sleep, you like all those and then you go to sleep, right? So we use the like button. But the like button, when you think about it in a very serious way, especially with regard to public opinion, is it all good, was my question, okay? So in order to sort of think about that question, we first turn to some theoretical frameworks. My students are already going like, theoretical. Clive O, here he is doing it again. But here, it's very simple. There's a concept called the public sphere. A guy named Jürgen Habermas in Germany came up with this idea when he saw people at salons in the early 1900s just discussing politics at like a coffee shop sort of setting, just sharing their opinions, agreeing, disagreeing, raising hands, voicing concerns. And so it is known as a desired state, okay, of social life where public opinion can be formed and deliberated upon freely. And social and new media increased interactivity, such as the like button, people being able to comment, people being able to like those comments, people being able to comment and like on original content. That is supposed to be good for the public sphere because a long time ago, it just was people who were there. For example, people in this room could only hear and listen to each other, but with this blown up scale of communication that's available, now the like button has been heralded as, okay, it is the savior. It is the key to how the public sphere is going to be better. But my question, this is where my question started. Is it really all that good when you're thinking about the public sphere and what the social media like buttons do? Think about this example. So this was a story that was written by a 23-year-old former quarterback in North Carolina. He created a fake website, and the website it was called The Christian Times, and he wrote a story about a postal worker who, while doing his job, stumbled upon a whole bunch of ballot boxes. This is right after the elections, with pre-marked ballots with Hillary Clinton's name on it, okay? And he wrote this story just completely from scratch. He made it up, and he received more than 6 million shares. The story, in the end, was shared more than 6 million times and about 1 million likes altogether across different platforms, sources. So why did this happen? Why did this happen? How is this able to happen? Fake news, obviously, is a key buzzword in today's sort of media landscape. So I sort of start there with examples like these. I was able to identify some problems, and they included the following. The public sphere is supposed to be able to include all willing members with as much relevant information as possible. But is that really the case with the like button, was my question. So I'll get to that in a minute. You'll understand what I'm saying in a little bit. Concurrent exchange of ideas in shared domains, the key word here is concurrent. It's got to happen simultaneously. But does it happen simultaneously on social media? You might think everyone's going live, everyone's liking, everyone's commenting live, so it's going to be simultaneous, but that really isn't the case. So I'll also sort of come back to this point. There should be no predetermining factors, meaning everyone's opinion should have equal value in the public sphere. Is that the case with the like button was my question. And there are certain communities and cultures that just do so many different things, and we don't understand what it is that they do and in what context these features are being used. So in order to address those problems, I actually conducted 5 studies for one paper. Oh, that was fun. That was really fun. But anyways, I conducted some framing analysis. I conducted a Wilcoxon signed ranks test. I'll tell you about that in a minute. I conducted an experiment, and as a follow-up, I did focus groups and interviews in trying to get an answer to some of these questions. And I compared United States and Korean cases. And in 2012, United States and Korea both had elections going on. And last year, United States had its presidential election. In Korea, we have a little sped up election right now because our president, Korea's my home country, has been impeached, and we have to pick a new president really soon. Okay, so it's all happening together around the same time, coincidentally, and I was able to gather data there. So here's my first question, or first study. I tried to study how comments on top news stories, or most read or most commented on news stories on Facebook and other platforms, if these comments were reframing the story. Okay, so this is an example of Jeremy Meeks. Have you seen this picture before? Okay, this man is a gang member in Stockton, California. Okay, and the Stockton, California police actually conducted a gang sweep, and they arrested him, and so his mugshot was on their Facebook page. Okay, as soon as people on social media saw his face, they were like, "Oh my gosh, he's gorgeous," and that was it. That was the end of the story. Okay, everybody commented. There were 40,000 comments, by the way, on that one post. And they reframed the story as like the gorgeous killer or the gorgeous gang member. And more than a few dozen news outlets just wrote a story using that same headline. Okay, so that's how the audience might reframe the story. Okay, and I looked at also comments that were liked a lot, meaning it gets shown up first, on those news websites and social media. How they were doing this and whether they had an effect on how people sort of perceived the reframing of the story. So I saw that with stories regarding political candidates, there was a lot of reframing and framing from the audience to begin with. A lot of people, no matter what the story was, were just saying, and the winner is Trump, and the winner is Clinton, and the winner should be Sanders, okay? And another reframing, it was, okay, people who are against my side are deceptive and you're stupid to believe that. And they were reframing the story like that, and these were such strong remarks that were on social media and receiving a lot of likes. That's all you would see. That's all you would see. So it's like an insulated kind of discussion that you never get to sort of look otherwise, okay? There was a lot of, okay, there's more to the story than we ought to know about, or just shutting down the opposition in general. Okay, and there was emphasis on certain perspectives and users, meaning a couple of users were just, emphasizing what they were saying, and they were gaining more likes, and they just became, the rich got richer. And in another study, what I did was I looked at whether time was of importance. Remember what I said about concurrent, exchange of information? If in a split second quicker, then that comment is going to get more likes. And if you get more likes, it just becomes more important. Okay, so as you can see here, the 3 comments in the Korean website, we see that the 3 comments, which received about 1,400 likes each, they were written 60 seconds apart, all 3 of them. And they were within 90 seconds of the actual story being published, meaning they read the story in 90 seconds, commented, and there were 3 of such comments. Okay, and what that meant was the Wilcoxon signed ranks tests how significant the amount of time before something happened, between something happened, and how many likes or whatever other attribute it received. And I saw that there was a very disproportionately high level of number of likes for comments that were left early. So you know how on YouTube, everyone, when there's a video, people just be like first, second. That's just the nature of it. People just going for just these, rankings and speed and things like that. My 4th study was an experiment. I created a fake website myself, and I wrote a fake story that was supposed to be neutral, Okay, and I wrote the story so that it's like 600 words with the 100-word like introduction and 250 for each of the two top candidates. So it would be like Trump and Clinton. It would be in Korea Moon and someone else. And so with this kind of website, I asked people what you think public opinion is after reading the whole story and all the comments. And I gave them two conditions. So without them knowing, I randomized them. And one condition had all the number of likes. I don't know if you can see on the right one. It has the thumbs up and thumbs down and shows you the number of likes. The second condition, same story, same comments, no indication of likes or no likes. And what people said was, when they saw the likes, people who saw the number of likes that were visible, they instantly thought that that was public opinion. And they were not afraid to believe that. And they kept on going and going and going and saying, yes, I'm affected by this. Everyone else seems to be affected by this. And that was the case. And the final study was I conducted focus groups with people who were in my experiment. And I asked them about, why do you like this content? Okay? Why do you like content on social media? Do you think it has an effect on you as well as others in order to enrich my findings? Okay, and I also conducted interviews with media professionals, PR practitioners of my former colleagues, and journalists, media executives, IT specialists, and what I found out from the focus groups was that overall everyone agreed that likes are influential and top statuses are important, and they're just dying to go viral themselves. No matter what, if I'm guaranteed with this many number of likes, I'm happy. That's what people would say. So I could see that the likes had such an influence while it still had this sort of predetermining factor of, if it comes to you as a top liked content, then people are going to think that it's important, regardless of the nature of the content. And the journalists, on the other hand, and the media professionals, they thought that the likes are stupid. Audiences are not stupid, but then they seem to have an inclination or be prone to this like button. And so they thought that they had an obligation to enlighten the public. And the example that you see, the photo right there, is the Cleveland killer, right, on Facebook. And you might not have noticed, but there was a lot of fake information going around with that too. Because people first thought he posted like his killing, live streamed it on Facebook, but it was not. Right, and some were questioning like if he had like satellite that could like detect police, cars for police car chases. Other people were asking, okay, how many people did he kill? Because in the video he says he killed like a dozen, and so all of that was going on. And so the journalists thought these things are getting a lot of likes, and there were GoFundMe pages for like the victims' families, which were all scams, and people were donating money too. And the reason you get that is because people on social media would share, like, and you think that's important. Okay? So as a result, I'm concluding in this study, I found that, likes need to be handled with care. There's a lot of extremity. People are going to fight for your attention, and it's going to be more provocative. And those things will continue to get more likes. And that's what will be presented to you when you're consuming your information. Chronological order is important. And so you can never beat bots or computers that are trying to send out fake information as soon as something happens on Twitter or wherever. Information overload is a big issue. That is one of the reasons why we can't really process through the whole contextual, why are we liking this? Because you're just looking at the palm of your hand for 3 seconds, you see that there was a liked comment, you read it, and then you move on to the next one. We have to be careful as media literate people to be able to sort of read through this. And finally, understanding their influence as professional communicators is important, both from the journalist, consumer, just public relations perspectives. And this is just final example. There were 2 stories about Clinton and Trump now this was a moment where the polls were sort of like, balanced. And there were 2 such stories, almost same, entirely the same. And there were 2 comments that sort of led the 2 stories, the comments, to be completely different in terms of discussion. One was for Trump, one was for Clinton. And because these comments appeared first and received likes, the rest of the comments, it was just like a Trump rally or a Clinton rally. So we have to be mindful of this happening. And yeah, those were some findings from my study. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much.